Hey everyone and welcome. Today's video is about learning to move properly to maximize your impact in-game. Movement is a fundamental skill in nearly any first-person game, and Valorant is no different. Valorant also has subtle but pronounced differences from other games in how the movement is designed. So, let's talk about how to master your movement and contribute more to your team. And if you're serious about improving, then go to SkillCapped.com to unlock our hyper improvement system that will teach you how to win more gunfights, master your agent, and so much more. Backed by our rank improvement guarantee, you have nothing to lose. So come join over 500,000 satisfied members of SkillCapped, improve that KDA, and get the rank you've always wanted at SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Before we get into some of the advanced techniques, we need to start with the basics. Movement and accuracy is the first thing to always have in mind when considering movement in Valorant. If you're watching this guide, there's a high chance you are already familiar with this idea, but it is important to be cognizant of how exactly it works. In Valorant, much like in pretty much any FPS, standing still while shooting is important. It guarantees first shot accuracy and makes aiming something you can control and not reliant on randomness. However, unlike other shooters, Riot did not want to make Valorant's movement system overly punishing. Nick Wu, a game designer at Riot working on weapon balance, mentioned that they did not want the penalty for moving to be too substantial. It's easy to see just from playing the game that Riot did not want to punish players too aggressively for movement. When moving, you have significantly more control over where your bullets go than in Counter-Strike, although randomness is of course still a factor. That can be valuable to take into consideration. There are situations where you need to move, maybe due to a molly, and in those situations trying to shoot your enemy while you move isn't as hopeless as in tactical shooters. That being said, your accuracy is still much better when you're standing still, and that is always going to be the best way to approach combat. This principle is important to drill into your brain because it is the foundation upon which the advanced concepts are built. Diving into our next concept. Counter-strafing, which is of course dependent on the idea of movement in accuracy and the goal of attaining first shot accuracy when you can. If you have a background in CSGO, you will definitely know about counter-strafing. In fact, in CSGO, counter-strafing is an essential skill. What is counter-strafing? It boils down to moving laterally, or strafing, using the A or D key, and then tapping the opposite key to stop dead in your tracks. The reason this technique is seen as so vital in CSGO is twofold. First of all, you keep your momentum for longer after releasing the movement key in CSGO, and secondly, movement inaccuracy is much more punishing. These factors lead to counter-strafing resetting your movement inaccuracy 300% faster than simply releasing the strafe key. Compared to that, how effective is counter-strafing in Valorant? In this clip, you can see how fast stopping is when releasing the A and D key, followed by counter-strafing. It's very hard to perceive a difference between the two, so many people have questioned whether or not there is even a benefit to counter-strafing while playing Valorant. The most common line of reasoning is that just releasing the key stops at the same speed as counter-strafing, while proponents of counter-strafing argue back that they can feel a distinct difference between counter-strafing and just releasing. To give a definitive final answer and resolve the debate, counter-strafing does reset your accuracy faster than just releasing the key. Senior game designer Riot Volcano confirmed that counter-strafing in Valorant is a minor optimization. Our own frame-by-frame analysis of the crosshair inaccuracy indicator shows that it is just over 10% faster to regain your first shot accuracy by counter-strafing rather than just stopping. 10% is a far cry from the 300% boost gained in CSGO, but here at SkillCapped, we are giving you pro tips and edges wherever we can. When the margins are as slim as they are in Valorant, it is more than worth learning this intuitive skill to get more kills by regaining your accuracy faster. Building on counter-strafing is the valuable ability to strafe shoot. This is particularly useful in pistol rounds but can be employed in any situation. Strafe shooting is maximizing both the benefits of counter-strafing and the reduced movement penalty inherent to Valorant. To strafe shoot, you simply strafe as if you are going to stop in place by counter-strafing. Instead of stopping, however, you hold down the opposite strafe key and change your direction completely. At the instant when you stop moving in one direction and start to move in the other, you'll have a chance to fire off an accurate shot. After that first fully accurate shot, you can fire a few more shots before you accelerate too much and your shots start to become very inaccurate. This is taking advantage of Valorant's movement leniency relative to other games. This is most valuable on pistol rounds because the rate of fire of pistols is lower. Your ability to move dynamically while shooting pretty accurately means you are harder to hit by the enemy's sporadic shots while you get your shots off. On normal gun rounds, your inaccuracy while strafe shooting is a much more notable disadvantage because while you dodge, the opponent's higher rate of fire means they can gun you down while you aren't shooting as accurately as they are. There is less punishment on your opponent for missing a shot while you strafe and they are using an automatic gun. To sum it all up, counter-strafing resets your inaccuracy faster than just releasing the strafe key, so it's always worth it. And by using the accuracy counter-strafing gives you, you can gain advantages by being a harder target without losing too much accuracy, especially on pistol rounds. There is another mechanic that takes advantage of counter-strafing in this game, and that is Jiggle Peeking. Jiggle Peeking is extremely common, but not many players recognize just how much of its strength comes from the counter-strafe. When you Jiggle Peek, you are clearly quickly strafing back and forth, which will result in resetting your inaccuracy at the moment of direction switch. As discussed earlier, that moment is perfect to use for a quick, accurate shot. To maximize the power of Jiggle Peeking, which largely relies on avoiding danger as much as possible, you want to only expose yourself at that moment of accuracy reset. Too little and you will not have an angle to shoot. Too much and you will be overextended. Once you master Jiggle Peeking, you should not be a shootable target until you need to be, and when you are exposed, your accuracy should be as if you're standing still so you can maximize the opportunity. This next topic is a very common strategy in higher level Counter-Strike, and it's best employed in the Valorant scene by Sentinel's pro player Dapper. He brought attention to this mechanic in Valorant in tournament play with clips like this, where he effectively gathered information while minimally exposing himself to danger. This is called a strafe jump peek, and works slightly different in Valorant than in other games due to the way that air movement is coded. Unlike Counter-Strike, Valorant has extremely high air acceleration, meaning theoretically this technique can be achieved only using your keyboard, although mouse movement does make it easier. In order to perform this maneuver, you run towards the angle you want to jump peek, and as you jump, you strafe away from the wall and flick your mouse away, then quickly turn back to cover and both strafe towards cover and move backwards or forwards. In CS, you only need to strafe and move your mouse, but because of higher air acceleration in Valorant, all you need is your keyboard, and the mouse movements just make your directional control easier. This peek is incredibly advantageous and a great way to take advantage of Valorant's air movement. It allows you to gain information at a very low risk to yourself, even allowing you to bait out op shots in some cases. Your information doesn't always even need to be visual, just forcing out a shot or ability is extremely useful. The final technique for gaining a better understanding of movement is bunny hopping. Similar to counter-strafing, Riot wanted to implement advanced FPS techniques into Valorant, even though the game's movement does not inherently reward it. So what they did was manually make these techniques into minor optimizations. Bunny hopping can be difficult if you're a beginner or even if you have some basic experience with it. Thankfully, you can check out our premium bunny hopping guide for pro tips on technique to make your movement way more efficient. And although people have debated whether or not bunny hopping actually does anything, just like with counter-strafing, senior designer Riot Volcano confirmed bunny hopping is an optimization that makes you move 10% faster. And remember, if you want to improve, win more gunfights, and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. So what part of these concepts do you need to work on? Are you missing all your shots because you aren't stopping fast enough? Are you getting one-tapped in pistol rounds without shooting accurately? Or do you need to find ways to peek while avoiding damage? Let us know in the comment section below, as it gives us great feedback on what to tailor our guides towards. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and like the video to get more premium guides just like this one with one goal in mind: helping you become a better player. We here at SkillCapped want to thank you for watching, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.